soul-saving sound.
To do to repair a relationship, to be honest with you, you it's a couple of steps to repairing a relationship, to be fair. Because like the first step is to figure out what it was whole to begin with. Because a lot of times we jump into a relationship in a broken relationship. That's like driving around in a car. Like, yeah, we might have bought the car new, meaning like we might have entered into the relationship. And I ain't talking about just romantic. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about business relationships, work relationships, whatever, whatever. When you are dealing with another person, that is a relationship. And a lot of times we'll enter into these things. The analogy I use is we'll go buy a new car. Well, we'll buy a used car, excuse me. Now, this is a new car to us, just like this is a new friend to us or whatever the case is. But it still probably got some issues. You come into it with issues, they come into it with issues. You might be a bad driver, this car might have a messed up engine. The spark plugs might be bad, the battery might be bad, so on and so forth. And so whenever you enter into these relationships like this, they always say don't get into a relationship unless you got yourself together. On a work relationship, don't go take no job unless you fully capable of handling that job. Don't get into a romantic relationship unless you're in a position to and have fixed things that have gone wrong in previous relationships. And the person that you connecting with should fix the same things about themselves. But if they don't, y'all enter into it, you done already entered into a broken relationship. And so that right there is going to be a rocky foundation. But then but if ain't nobody perfect, ain't nobody got themselves all the way together, ain't nobody all the way on point. So whenever we get into these relationships, like I said, if it was broke to begin with, it's gonna have to be some repairs down the way. But then whenever you do end up, having a split or a fracture that you like, hey, we gotta part ways and so on and so forth, but you come back together, you gotta identify what broke between y'all, what actually happened in between y'all, because that's the first step in repairing it. And then you got to be willing to take the steps to actually fix it. You can't just gloss over problems. You can't just say, all right, we back together, but we ain't gonna talk about this, or we are going to continue working together, or we gonna continue this business relationship, but we gonna ignore this major problem that we had. Now, you got to identify, and both sides got to be willing to take steps and work it in order so that y'all can come back together. And it is work. Like whenever you repairing your broke car, you gotta lift that hood, you gotta pull some wrenches out, you gotta get dirty, put some elbow grease in, and work on it to fix it. So when you repairing a relationship, it's work. You actually got to go in there and you gonna get dirty. It's gonna be some stuff that might hurt that come out. It might be some stuff that, that you didn't realize was broke. Because when you're working on a car, you think I'm replacing the battery. Oh man, my battery terminal's messed up too. Or you get to, working on the alternator and you realize, hey, my piston ain't firing off the right way. Whatever the case might be. So whenever you start repairing a relationship, y'all might think, oh, this person just had an issue with line. And the whole time you realize, hey, it's something more deep seated here. You know what I'm saying? So whenever you are dealing with repairing a relationship, be prepared. Like I said, first identify the problem, but then be prepared to do the work. The rebuilding and the work, the work, first off, it got to be open communication. Like, it can't be, like, a relationship has to be built and firmly established in trust. Like, because if you don't trust, all right, whenever you dealing with somebody, you got to, it has to be honesty on both sides. Honesty has to be present on both sides of it, because if one person's being open and honest and wholeheartedly all putting it all out there on one side, and this other person holding something back, guess what? You still don't know what you fully dealing with. So it has to be, you have to get to a point to where when you're ready to put this work in, that you can say, hey, we putting it all out here on the table, ain't holding nothing back, leaving no cards back. That's what's going to help to bring it to be fully repaired. Again, using the car analogy, I can't put my car back together and leave some parts out of it. I got to replace each one of these parts with a new and good, fully functioning working part, so that I can have a fully functioning car, because all systems work well together. And so with the communication aspect, if we, like, for instance, I'll use a romantic relationship. If we end up having issues to where somebody's being dishonest about the finances or something like that, okay, the root cause is just being dishonest in the communication. Like, yeah, we might have been lying about money, but, you know, the root cause is this person didn't trust you enough and wasn't open enough with you in order to just be honest with you. And so what other areas does that dishonesty carry over into? And so you got to put it all out there and just say, hey, we're going to talk about this. We're going to put all issues out there. That way you got all the pieces and you can identify each and every individual piece is broken. And once you start communicating about it, you have to have yourself and it be in a mindset to accept and to listen to what the other person is saying. You can't start off saying, okay, we going to honestly and openly communicate and only be wanting to say your part. You got to be willing to say, hey, more so, it's about listening, like, than anything, and hearing what this person's saying and what their issue is with you. And then be willing to accept what they said, to where, because sometimes honesty hurt. Sometimes criticism is harsh. It's a hard pill to swallow, but like, and to where it come back to God being first. God has stuff that he needs you to do and things that he needs you to accomplish. But sometimes we can't accomplish them, or we can't get there because we got something in us that's holding us back. We got an attitude or a mentality or something that's holding us back. And that attitude or that mentality will pop up in the midst of a relationship, whether it be a business relationship, romantic relationship, so on and so forth, because this attitude is within you. And guess what? When this issue pop up with your partner, whoever the person is that you're dealing with, they might be pointing it out. Not only because they pointed out because it bothers them, and they point out because they need you to fix this for this relationship to work. But guess what? That's that messenger from God. That's that person he has put into your life to say, hey, this is what you need to fix in order I can help you reach your greatest potential. And so if your wife is constantly on you saying, hey, your attitude is bad, you got a temper problem, so on and so forth, guess what? That temper problem might be the thing that stopped you from getting that promotion at work. That bad attitude or that lackadaisical attitude might be the thing that stopped you from saying what was the thing that needed to be said in this business meeting in order so you could secure an investor or something like that. So your wife is just trying to help you correct something, because that's who God has put in place in order to give you a trusting person, in order to give you a person that is going to, excuse me, y'all, somebody was trying to call me. In order to give you that person that is going to be, he gives you a trusting person in order to help you work on issues, because you ain't going to work on your issues with somebody that you don't know. You're not going to be open with somebody that you don't have a trusting relationship with. That it's just not gonna happen. So behind closed doors or in a boardroom, in a meeting room with somebody that you have an established trusting relationship with, they can be the ones to come to you because they know how to relate to you and tell you, hey, bro, this is something that you need to work on. This is the attitude of something you need to work on. But guess what? We don't like to hear it all the time. We don't like to face our flaws. We don't like to face that something might be wrong with me. We always say, hey, it's something wrong with everybody else. They got the issue. It's not me. They got the problem. It's not me. And people be so quick to say, I ain't changing for nobody. I ain't doing this. But if you're not changing for nobody, how you expect your life to change? If you're not going to take the steps in order to correct what could be perceived as character flaws by everybody else in order to get to a better place, how you expect to get there? You can't keep driving down the same street and it keep coming to a dead end and think that you're going to get to your destination. You got to get in that car and drive a different route. And a lot of times a person will come into your life and they the GPS system that's trying to help you get there and direct you there. But you, like I said, it has to be a sense of honest, open communication. And that's developed through talking issues out and seeing, number one, you got to gauge and see, does this person have my best interest at heart? Ask yourself, what are their motivations for telling me this? If this is somebody that has a history of trying to see you do better, if this is somebody that has a history of talking to you and telling you things that are for your good, then whenever they tell you something you don't want to hear, guess what? It's probably for your good, but it's something that you don't want to hear because it's something that you ain't ready to address yet. But like I said, it might be that time in your life whenever you need to sit back and realize, hey, it's time for me to change my attitude. Hey, it's time for me to stop drinking. Hey, it's time for me to stop smoking. And because, this, like I said, this person is sent into your life in order to help you get better and to help you get to a better place. If the relationship that you had was good, if you liked the situation that you were in with the person that you were dealing with, and then it end up fracturing, but you come back to repair it, if you come back to revisit it because it was good, then you should, then coming back knowing, hey, I want to reestablish this, I want this back, you need to come back with the attitude, I'm willing to put the sacrifice in to get what's good, because don't nothing good, don't nothing worth having come to you easy. A Lamborghini, you don't get a Lamborghini by going and spending Kia prices on it. You don't get a Cadillac by spending Honda Accord prices on it. You have to be willing to put out the money in order to get the quality of what that car is. Just like if you want a good established relationship, you got to put the effort and the time into it that's going to make that relationship worth it. If not, you're going to keep ending up with nothing because you sitting back and you putting in nothing. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. And if you don't put the effort in to have honest, open communication and to say we're going to talk about issues, address issues and stuff, then you're not going to get you're not going to get a firmly established relationship. You're going to get a facade or something that's eventually going to end up crumbling because it ain't got no foundation. It can't be one-sided. Both sides have to, again, romantic, business, friendship, family, whatever the case is, both sides got to be willing to come to the table and talk these issues out and work through the problems. And then if you are the one at fault, if you're the one that split the relationship, if you're the one that end up messing up and having the problems, hey, don't just expect the person to accept you back with, oh, just because you saying you gonna do better. You got to build a track record up. You got to build a history up. Like, whenever they build a case on you in court, this person walk in there with a file and say, this person did this, and this. You might be saying, hey, I'm not a bad person. They got a whole file showing that you a bad person. So if you done fractured the relationship and you the person that's at fault, the reason that things went bad, they got a file folder of bad events, of bad stuff that happened, of incidents and things that they dealt with you with. And just because you come and saying that, hey, I'm going to do better, it's going to take time. As with anything, it's going to take time and patience in order to rebuild that trust, in order to rebuild that relationship, in order to show, hey, I am this new changed person. I got under my engine. I did that work and I drive. Like I said, again, using the car analogy. If a car break down on you, you gonna be shaky about after it get fixed and come from the shop. You gonna be real shaky about driving that car for the next 3 months. Anytime a sound pop up, you like, oh man, not again. Or anytime, you know what I'm saying, something shake the wrong way or something, you gonna be like, hold up, and been to the repair shop and you have fixed your car, you have fixed your issues and everything with it. You still it's gonna be in the back of your mind, man, this thing done messed up on me. It's kind of shaky. You hear, you know what I'm saying? You get ready to turn that key and it don't crank up automatically. You like, oh man, or you hear a bad shake in the wheel, or you hear a sound come from the engine, alert go off in your head. It's the same way in relationships. To where, fans, I'll use a romantic relationship. If you have been a cheater and got a history of cheating, but you say, hey, I done changed my ways, and you legitimately have changed your ways. Again, we talking about you done got under there and done the work and have fixed yourself in this, but don't think that your old lady or your old man is just going to accept, oh, he ain't a cheater no more. When you don't answer the phone, you know what I'm saying, and they know you supposed to be on the phone, don't be surprised whenever that alert then went off in their head, oh, he giving me the same problems again. Whenever you have established a relationship with your boss and they have come to expect that you are a late person, but you have told them, hey, I'm going to do better. I'm trying to be more productive at work. I'm trying to have more potential. And you have shown them that, and you have started showing up on time and everything. The one time that you show up late, don't be surprised if they fall back into that old mode and handle you like that old person, because guess what? You showed them signs of it. Because like I said, in repairing a relationship, it's got to be both sides. And if you are the one that's been presenting the problem, but you making a change, don't expect people to accept that change overnight. And that's where we go so terribly wrong in repairing relationships. We think, oh, just because I done fixed myself, everybody's supposed to accept the fact that I done fixed myself. If you got a history of being a drug addict and you have been doing drugs for years, but then all of a sudden you go clean, don't think everybody gonna accept in the first 3 months he ain't a drug addict no more. A lot of people sitting back waiting, when he gonna fall off? When he gonna fall off? When is it gonna come? But that's about you being structured, you being set, and you being firm in the fact that I'm a changed person. I'm going to continue who I am, and I'm just gonna show them over time who I am as a person and what I have grown into. And eventually people will see it. The results and who you are will show in the way that you move, the way that you talk and stuff. And eventually a person will accept that this is who he is. Long story short, it's about your history. Like what type of history are you establishing for yourself, and you know what I'm saying, where are you go and how are you gonna move forward?